If I had to start over my career in my 20s, I'd ignore most of the AI courses out there and get these 5 specific certifications instead. Because by the time you're 30, the right stack of certifications will do more to land you your dream job than another generic masterclass ever could. So in this video, I break down all 5 and the exact order to get them in across your 20s. So the first one barely even counts as a certification, and that is exactly why you start here. Because everybody thinks step 1 is some heavy technical course, and it's really not. That first one is just Google AI Essentials, and it's about as beginner-friendly as a certification gets. What you do in it is use the tools like Gemini and Generative AI, and you build a small working tool inside Google AI Studio by the end. So it all starts from here, because most people applying right now for these types of jobs have never properly used AI, and you probably already know the kind of using I mean. It is typing a quick question into ChatGPT, copying the first thing it gives back, and pasting it straight into an email or a report without even reading it through, or asking it to write a message, getting something that sounds like a robot. Most people are basically using it like a search engine. One question, one answer, close the tab, and then they go and tell everyone AI is overrated. But that is not really using AI. They have never handed it one of their actual work documents and asked it to pull out what matters, or given it the full context of the thing they are stuck on, or pushed back on a weak answer until it turned into a good one. So when a job posting says they want someone who can actually use AI, that gap is exactly what they mean. And sitting down and using those tools on a real task is what employers are quietly paying for right now. So before you spend even a cent on anything harder out there, go start with the Google AI Essentials on Coursera this week. The link's right there in the description. So in under a few hours, you go from talking about AI to actually building with it, which already puts you ahead of most people up for that same first job. But this one alone won't get a recruiter calling you back after you send your CV, and the next one in the order is the first that does. And it's almost insulting how cheap this one is. $100 and a couple of hours for the first credential a recruiter actually recognizes. This is where AWS comes in, because AWS is the biggest cloud platform there is, and a credential from them carries real weight on a resume. The exam is called the AWS Certified AI Practitioner. It is $100, 90 minutes, and it is a foundational level, so you do not need to be an engineer to pass it. And here is why that $100 is the smartest money on this whole list. The words AWS certified get recognized by basically every recruiter and every application system, because more companies run on AWS than any other cloud. And here is exactly why a recruiter gets excited the second they see it. Right now, everyone applying writes, "I know AI" or "comfortable with AI" on their resume, and the recruiter has no way to tell who means it. They are staring at 100 resumes that all say the same thing. AWS certified is the one line they do not have to take your word for, because you cannot hand it to yourself. You had to pass Amazon's own exam to get it. So in a single line, you go from another person claiming they know AI to the person who proved it. And it is even more concrete than that, because most companies run every resume through software before a human ever sees it. And that software is scanning for exact names like AWS certified. That one line is often the difference between getting read and getting thrown out before anyone even looks at you. And the reason to move on it now is simple. Barely anyone at the entry level has this yet. So today, it makes you the one that stands out. Give it a couple of years and everyone has it, and the day that happens, it stops being an advantage and turns into the bare minimum just to be considered. So for $100, you are buying the exact kind of name people drop thousands chasing in boot camps, right when jobs that ask for AI skills are paying around 60% more. So for $100, you go from someone who just uses AI to someone with a credential that a recruiter will actually stop on. But knowing the concepts and building the actual thing are two different jobs though, and the next one is the first that proves you can build. Now this is the first one with the word engineer in the title, and it is where the pay starts going up, because the first two are your proof that you understand AI, but this one proves you can build it. And it's the Microsoft Azure AI Engineer Associate, the one listed as AI 102, and it's $165. The word associate matters a lot here because it means this is a step up from foundational. You are expected to build AI solutions on Azure and not just define what they are. And they updated it for 2026 to cover generative AI and AI agents, which is exactly what companies are hiring people right now to build. So the people who can build it, not just talk about it, are the ones landing the dream jobs. But do not take it lightly, because you cannot pass on this one without writing real code. It expects you to already know Python or C#. What you are proving is that you can build build an actual generative AI app that runs on a large language model and pulls in a company's own data so it answers from real information instead of making things up. And it goes further than that. It wants you building AI agents, software that can plan out a multi-step task and carry it out on its own. That difference is bigger than it sounds. A normal AI tool answers one question, and then it is on you to do the next step. An agent does the whole job itself. It works out the steps, takes the actions, and only stops once the task is actually finished. For a business, that is huge because so much of what people get paid to do is just multi-step work that follows the same pattern every time. Read the request, check a system, update a record, send the reply. An agent can run that whole process on its own, hundreds of times a day, around the clock, without a single person clicking a button. That is work that used to need a whole team, now done by software one person built. So someone who can build these is not saving a company a little time. They are taking over entire pieces of work that used to cost salaries. And that is the kind of value a business will pay almost anything for. That is exactly what companies are scrambling to hire for. And because it is the hard one, it is the first you actually sit down and study for. So aim to have it before you turn 30. So this one turns you from someone who understands the basics of AI into someone companies would hire in a second. And building general AI solutions is one thing, but there is a single specialty right now paying more than all of it, and that is the next one. So this is the specialty companies are spending the most on right now, and almost nobody has a credential in it. It is generative AI and large language models, the chatbots and the agents everyone is racing to build. The certification is the NVIDIA Certified Associate in Generative AI and LLMs, and it is $125. And the name on it is the whole reason to care, because NVIDIA makes the chips that basically all of this runs on. So a credential from them in this exact field is taken seriously. And the demand is not subtle. Over 70% of companies are adopting for generative AI usage this year, and entry-level people working with these models are already starting around $85,000 and $125,000. There are way more of these roles open right now than there are people who can prove they can do the work, and that gap is the entire opportunity. But it only exists because almost nobody has this credential yet. Get it this year, and you walk into roles companies cannot fill fast enough. But if you don't get started soon, once everyone has caught on and every applicant has the same certification, that means the advantage is gone. And right now that gap is about as wide as it is ever going to be. The field is so new that there is no big pool of experienced people for companies to pull from. So they are not asking for 10 years on a resume. They are hiring on proof you can do it today. That is the rare window where one certification can put you ahead of people who have been working longer than you have. Get it now, and you are one of the very few who actually hold it, while companies have far more of these roles than people to fill them. But if you wait 2 years and it flips, you are one of thousands with the same certification fighting over the same jobs. And the ones who moved early are already the senior people deciding who gets hired. So this one proves you do not just build AI. You build the exact kind every company is desperate to hire for right now. Now everything so far has been foundational or associate level, but there is one more that is a level above all of them. And the last one is the hardest, the most expensive, and the one you build the rest of your 20s toward. The first 4 get you hired and start with you building, but this one marks you as a machine learning engineer. It is the Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineer. It is $200 and it is a 2-hour proctored exam. So here is the difference. You are expected to have built and shipped machine learning, not just studied it, which is why people do not pass this one in a week of cramming. And that difficulty is the entire point. Almost nobody pushes through a 2-hour exam that expects you to have built and shipped machine learning. So the people who pass are rare, and rare is what gets paid. This carries the biggest pay increase on the whole list. Professionals in roles such as lead ML Ops engineer or AI solutions architect typically command salaries between $140,000 and $200,000 plus, along with lucrative equity and signing bonuses. And this one is genuinely time sensitive. Start the other 4 now and pass this by 30, and you spend your 30s as a senior machine learning engineer, while the people who put it off are only getting started at 35. You get one run at your 20s, and you do not get to come back later and be early. So that is all 5 in order, and if you start the $50 one this month and aim the last one at 30, you finish your 20s with the exact stack that lands the job for less than the cost of one college class. And landing the job is really just the start, because a few AI certifications out there are worth more than an entire degree, and I found the 7 that pay the most. Click the video on screen to see them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.